What is going down, world? Welcome to the 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. I go by the name Black Pegasus.
And it's your boy, Don Wannabe, back in the house.
Oh, yeah, man. So what you got for me, Don?
Bro, what do you know about this FTX scandal?
A little bit. I saw a little bit. Alex Jones was breaking it down to me. That's all. That's all.
You know when it hits Alex Jones' radar that it's crazy. But, I mean, depending on what you heard, it's probably even crazier than you could have imagined. I mean, it's a story filled with sex, drugs, billions of dollars, an alleged Ponzi scheme that was funneling money to politicians.
Sounds like my type of story. Before we get into this, you guys, don't forget to like, share, and comment on all of the content. But most importantly, subscribe. We just hit 44,000 subs, trying to get to 50, then 100, then a milli. But yo, you rocking with the 40s.
40-year-old fuck boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. 40-year-old fuck boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. 40-year-old FUQ Boys podcast. Malt liquor for your ears. 40.
All right, man, let's get into it. What we got here, Dan?
All right, man. So I'm just going to start from the top just to kind of fill you in. And for anybody who is listening who doesn't know the inside scoop, I mean, the story goes deep, and I'm going to start with kind of the surface level stuff. And then at the end, we're going to go off the rails a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that I endorse all of this information that I'm putting out there, but the story goes so deep that it starts to get into these crazy territories of speculation where it's like, man, how deep does this really go? How dark is this story? You know, how far do these political ties go and who's involved? So I'm going to just start with this article. I'm going to share the screen real quick.
All right, I'm going to pull this up on the screen so you guys can see it as well. We're going to dive into the Democratic Slush Fund, aka FTX. Let's get it, and how you can. Never mind. Don't say that. You'll get kicked off YouTube.
All right. So this is a thread that is up on Twitter. Ben Swan, shout out to Ben Swan. He put this together. So I'm just going to breeze through some of these articles so we can get kind of a background and people can understand what the layout is. Reports that FTX cryptocurrency has been used in a Ponzi scheme involving the Democrats in Ukraine are circling the internet. FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried, don't ask Kanye what his background is, has been leading Democratic Party donor, following just behind George Soros, giving an impressive, now this is a typo.
Don't ask Kanye who George Soros is affiliated with. Don't ask Kanye because he'll be very upset. All right, keep going.
We will not speak of this. We will not speak of those connections. So it says giving an impressive, the actual number is $40 million to Democratic candidates. Let me just scroll so people can read along if they so desire. To Democratic causes in this recent midterm. Bankman-Fried is currently under investigation by the Commodity Futures Trading Commission and the Securities and Exchange Commission after allegedly moving $10 billion in client assets from his crypto exchange to his trading firm Alameda Research and filing bankruptcy before the investigation. Bankman-Fried funded several key lawmakers charged with overseeing the CFTC pouring cash into their campaign coffers. So the now bankrupt crypto trading firm has confirmed there was unauthorized access to its accounts hours after the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection Friday. So they're saying that they got hacked after they filed bankruptcy, and I guess additional $1 million went missing. So basically what this was, it was like a crypto exchange where people could do trades on their own, mainly using crypto. But little did they know what was happening is Alameda Research, this other firm that they ran, was taking those funds to do their own trading.
Yeah.
So Bankman-Fried has been an outspoken supporter of Ukraine. Months ago, FTX even partnered with Ukraine. Ukraine ranks number 2 in the world for crypto use, and undoubtedly business has been booming. The country has raised over $60 million through more than 120,000 crypto asset donations since the start of the Russian invasion. There are now reports that tens of billions in American military aid to Ukraine has not been used to fight Russia, but instead was invested into FTX, sending it to Ukraine, who then transferred it to FTX, and then laundering it back to U.S. Democrats who originally voted to send its money.
This is stupid. Okay. So what's the validity of this, though? How do we prove?
I mean, this is all what I'm reading right now. There's really there's no discrepancies that I know of. There's no falsities here. I mean, literally, a bunch of these politicians voted to send money to Ukraine, and then Ukraine invested that money into this service.
Mm-hmm.
And then that money ended up going back into,
the Democratic slush fund.
Exactly. So all of this is official. And so where it's weird, and I'm going to pull up some other clips here, is like, first of all, it's like a 20-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
Who's a multi-billionaire, and he arose basically out of nowhere, right? And immediately started getting people like Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle, promoting him. He was on the cover of magazines talking about like, he's like going to be the savior, the new form of billionaire that's going to give all his money away.
So Tom Brady's in on it too, huh? I heard about that actually, but dang, bro. Like, man, you have all these detractors trying to hate on crypto as it is. This does not look good.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. I mean, we can dive into that now if you want, but, let's go over some of the overviews and then we'll go into the speculative nature of some of this stuff.
All right.
So I'm going to bring up this next article here. So, the FTX story is wild. Here's what I found out so far. So this is another, article just to give a little bit more depth. Okay, let me see. No investors joined FTX's board of directors, which was made up of Mr. Bankman-Fried, an FTX employee and a lawyer. An advisory board of investors had no functional control over the company. So literally you just had these 20-year-old, kids involved with, literally like they were saying that they were doing up to like 10 billion in transactions every day, every day. And these guys were managing this. So yes, SBF, that's what this guy's name stands for, Sam Bankman-Friedman, or Fried, sorry. Hair is better than mine. It says the FTX chief lobbyist has deleted his Twitter account. So this is a lobbyist that was basically involved with, getting him passed through, right? So FTX worked with auditing firm Prager Metis that has an office in the metaverse. Meet the metaverse nightclub loving audit firm that presided over FTX's financials. So basically what this is demonstrating is that right out of the gate, he had very powerful connections. This kid had these very powerful connections in the banking industry, in the oversight, in these political circles, like right out of the gate, and was immediately just kind of like swept into this position with like no oversight. So as we continue to scroll down, you'll see that, they said that he was like playing League of Legends during like a huge meeting with Sequoia, which is a giant investment firm. And then, where I wanted to continue, of course, is that look who else is involved.
The WEF.
Yeah. So the World Economic Forum, it says, is a partner. FTX is a cryptocurrency exchange built by traders for traders. FTX offers innovative products, including industry-first derivatives, options, volatility products, and leveraged tokens. It strives to develop a platform robust enough for professional trading firms and intuitive enough for first-time users.
So they were really...
Now, of course, they've scrubbed their website of this information now.
They weren't joking when they said, you will own nothing and be happy, because these fools took all their bread.
They took all of their bread, and it's like, who does this really benefit?
So this is my question, though.
Yeah.
Did this kid think he would get away with this? Like, so, most people who have done Ponzi schemes at this high level, anything over $1 million, 5 million, they get caught and they go down. But what's crazy is, how do they really go down? Is it a couple years? Like they're not getting locked up for life.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie Madoff is in jail for life.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. So
Oh.
this is where it
Hold
gets.
on, hold on. How much did Bernie Madoff make off with?
I think he was like 8 or 9 billion.
Okay, so I'm just curious because Bernie Madoff's story, I forget it, but I remember he thought he would get away with it, right? The way he was trying to make moves.
I mean, I think all of these people who are doing these have some, feeling that they're going to get away with it.
Really? That just seems insane to me because where's the money? Like, it's like, where's the real money? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you just, it's like this circular thing going, but all it takes is
And
one.
where did the money go? They were trading it in these high risk schemes. So somebody got that money, right?
Exactly. And
So
if he,
this is where it gets tricky. And I'm going to get into that in a moment because there's all this fishiness surrounding this and all these questions that are raised by this. It's like, how does a kid like this just get propelled into the highest, spaces of politics and, get pushed through the SEC and all this stuff? And, there was a different trading firm. They had like 3 different trading firms that were set up, right? Each with like these different oversights. But from what I understand is that, obviously none of us are experts in this field, but there are some gray areas in the crypto space. And depending on where these firms are set up. So I've even seen things saying that, he may not get as much time as you would think because of these gray areas.
Wow. And because it's crypto.
And because it's crypto. Exactly.
Because it's not regulated. And this goes into why they're going to need to regulate it, basically.
Well, it goes into the fact of, that's the question, right? That's what they're pushing now is, of course, now that this has happened, you have all these politicians, you have Janet Yellen, at the Treasury saying that, this is exactly why we need to regulate crypto. And the people that are in the crypto community are saying, no, if you gave somebody else, the keys to your crypto, you're an idiot. Like you need to keep that in your own personal space. You can't just be putting it in these different, places where you don't have access to it.
Yeah, man. About all this. So I'm in the crypto space. I put some money in 2020. It was super low, Bitcoin and ETH, and it popped off, So I took my original investment out and then I just left what I made in there. So that's still in there. But what's crazy is, originally I bought my stuff through Coinbase. Okay. But one of my buddies was like, yeah, man, at one point, Coinbase got hacked a little bit. There were some issues. I recommend Binance. So I went and bought a bunch of my crypto through Binance. Binance is somehow connected with this nonsense. I did see that. Like they were like one of the first adopters of FTX and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, dude, I don't even know, so I'm the wallets I have is Coinbase and Binance, but I also have a ledger where you can store your crypto so that people can't hack it and stuff like that.
And I think this is what people are saying. And this is what people who are diehard, crypto people are saying, like, don't ever store your, it's essentially your money in these places where you don't have access to them. That's the exact opposite of what crypto is supposed to be. It's supposed to be something that you have control over, that you have access over. And as soon as you hand that over to somebody else to store it, then you lose that power.
Yeah, that's wild. I need to update my ledger now that I think about it, but whatever. Dang, bro. The other day, I was like, man, I'm tired of this bull. I'm just going to pull my bread. I seen how low Bitcoin was. I was like, I'm just going to wait, man.
So, yeah. Do you want to breeze through some of these other topics, get into the juicy stuff real quick?
Yeah, pull it up.
Okay.
I'll share it. All right, you guys, if you're enjoying this commentary, make sure you hit that like button. Also, after this drops, I will be doing my freestyle rap practice right around 2:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You know how it goes every Thursday. I'm in here working out the kinks for this freestyle rap shiznit. But right now, we're trying to figure out, man, should we get some more of this FTX? They said don't trip by the dip. It's really dipping. It's really dipping right now.
It's really dipping. Yeah, you got all the dips right now. Salsa, hummus.
This dude is a clown. He looks like a goddamn clown. What's funny is head up. But he got like those torpedo titties and that little stomach. I'm like, this motherfucker out here looking like a kangaroo. Anyway,
Exactly. So look, it says on April 25th, 2019, Joe Biden announces his presidential campaign. 13 days later, on May 8th, 2019, Sam Bankman-Fried, son of Barbara Fried, the co-founder of the political fundraising organization Mind the Gap and Get Out the Vote organizations, including the Center for Voter Information, launches the FTX crypto exchange. The exchange is an overnight success that enables Sam to become the second biggest donor to the Biden campaign. Really makes you think.
yo, did you say their organization's called Don't Mind the Gap?
It says mind the gap.
I missed that. Okay, I thought she had a gap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't mind. How? You ho! Y'all took our money. Your son took our money, ho! All right, I had to get that out. Let's go.
All right. So I'm just going to play a couple clips so you can see the people that are actually involved and get a sense of, like, you know, who these people were, you know.
Oh, Lord.
And then we're going to get in, like I said, to the juicy part of the story. All right. So this is what is her name? It's Colleen, I believe.
Just don't mind the gap.
But basically, she's the CEO of FTX. And tell me, is this not the intro of Casting Counts or Black.com? I mean, why am I getting those vibes?
Yup. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Don't mind the gap.
About my math degree. Use very little math. Use a lot of like elementary school math. Being comfortable with risk is very important. We tend to stop losses. I think those aren't necessarily a great risk management tool. Trying to think of a good.
I need a protein shot on my glasses.
Lost a ton of money.
Her knees, bro. She be on those drums.
Well, I don't know. I probably don't want to go into specifics too much with that.
Yeah, so it's funny that she would say, look at her knees and she needs some protein shots on her glasses, because this is where the story gets super saucy. It's alleged, right, that they were basically involved in a polycule. Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay, a polycule. It's a play on the word molecule, right? A polycule is a polyamorous love situation. It says that there were about 10 people involved in this. All the members of this particular company were involved in a 10-person polycule. So she was one of the people in that polycule involved with Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, and this is what is, bro, this
orgy molecule in life. Thinking about that broad and that dude, even in the same room with me naked, is a instant soft Microsoft, bro.
And then now put on 8 other people who you know, probably look just as good, right? The other thing is, like, you can be, you know, let's just be real. You can be kind of sloppy, you know, kind of chubby and whatever, but be looking clean. But let's be real. That dude looks like chubby and dirty. And so to top things off, speaking of top, apparently they were high on amphetamines, probably like Adderall or something of that nature. But there's multiple reports saying that they were having these polycule, you know, billionaire orgies high on amphetamines.
I'm done, bro.
And somebody on the internet said that they have a video that they're holding for blackmail of one of their orgies that they're going to release to try and, like, I guess, get these people to pay their money back. And I'm like, bro, nobody wants to see that. Like, why are you trying to add, you know, insult to injury with this?
Yeah, ain't no polycule with these ugly ass MFs worth 10 billion.
Exactly.
Dang, bro. You know what's funny is these MFers will tell you this, right? You'll see it. Oh, Elon, you could have stopped world hunger. Motherfucker, these people could have stopped world hunger. Well, they couldn't, but you know what I'm saying. That,
yeah,
you know, it's
Well, this is one of the things is that he was out there. I should play this little clip, but one of the reasons that people were just jocking him and he had supermodels and all this stuff on his nuts is because he was talking about how he was going to give all his money away to charity. So he was promoting himself as being like this Robin Hood type character. But let me just play this clip so you can get a sense of him, and then we'll move on to the, round out this segment.
Rob from the working class to give to the Democrats.
Sam.
Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my story.
What's up, guys? I'm here with my boy Sam from FTX.
Being comfortable with risk is very important.
Why don't you buy a Lamborghini, man?
Didn't have any particular need for one.
Yo,
Use a lot of like elementary school math.
The most generous billionaire in the world. Sam has crazy hair. Sam is vegan. Sam sleeps 5 hours a night. Sam has $22 billion.
A lot of people think this is how you mine Bitcoin, but you don't need a flamethrower. You just need FTX. Be Bitcoin.
I got you, Sam. I got you, Sam. I know you didn't think that, well, I guess you thought I was just kidding when I said get ready. No, bud. No. Hey, I know everything.
Yeah, so you get the gist of who you're dealing with.
Bro, this makes me so angry that it just makes me want to reinstate, anyways, I can't say that because
I mean, just look at this dude's chair shaking and tell me he's not high on something.
Maybe there's some donations that you have made that you wouldn't make if you knew they were going to be immediately public. Like what you're saying is maybe there's some donations that you have made that you wouldn't make if you knew they were going to be immediately public.
Dude, what, dude?
And it goes back to the whole thing is how do people like this get in power? How do they rise up so quickly? How does this guy at any point in his life become worth $26 billion?
I have the answer.
How is that?
Make bullies great again. These nerds have taken over, and
they have taken over. If somebody just gave him a wedgie, we'd get all the money back. Somebody needs to give him a swirly and hang him from a locker by his underwear.
That masculine energy is so bad that they let these little twerps take all the money from the working class. This is insanity, bro. This is literally insane. And I've been seeing little stuff, but I haven't done a dive like this. I haven't seen he's a crackhead sitting here twitching, and he can barely, from what I've seen, he is what epitomizes dork. Like when Tom Brady's there and he's just shaking his head like this, like, yeah, Tom Brady endorses me. I'm like, bro, ain't no chick dropping to her knees for your corny ass, bro. Like, I'm sorry. That dude is clown world. So, man, and you guys, I'm not condoning violence. I'm making a joke. You know what I mean? But dude is on some BS. And he definitely, I mean, bro, I don't even know what to say. It's weird, man. And I guess that's what the world is. Like, I'm not mad at people who are good at technology balling out of control.
Yeah, but this goes deeper than that because, we're seeing something else at play. And what we're seeing is we're seeing some of the most, influential people in the world, literally. You have these politicians, right? Mm-hmm. You have the World Economic Forum endorsing them. Mm-hmm. Right out the gate, you have people like Tom Brady and, endorsing them. So it's getting your average, citizen, American football watcher to say, oh, this is something that, now I can finally get into Bitcoin, right? You have somebody like Tom Brady endorsing it. And then what ends up happening? The market gets crashed and immediately they're asking for regulation. So that's where my, conspiracy radar brain goes off and says, like, how does a kid like this get put into a position of power? How do you give somebody like this billions of dollars? How does this get pushed through regulations and regulators? You and I both know we're out here hustling and grinding. How often do endorsements by people like Tom Brady fall into your lap?
Nah, that it never happens. And what happens is, all this stuff is done very carefully by design, and it's strategic. It's like the Weather Underground positioning themselves in college and university after they did their run in the 70s. You know, his mom is literally a campaign, you know, organizer and getting funds. So he's raised in a household where he's seeing all these things. It's obvious he's probably some type of computer whiz, nerd, whatever you want to call it. And he gets, you know, exposed to crypto early, starts understanding it. Now, I mean, I don't know enough about this to know if he knew what he was doing was absolutely wrong, or if he was just like, yeah, man, I figured out a way to, because like a lot of people be like, yo, my side is the good side. I want to be on the right side of history. I figured out a way to use crypto to get money to my party and we could do all this stuff. I don't know, but I do know that, you know, the left-hand side controls all of the institutions. So it's very rare that you see some crypto dude like go ham on the right-hand side, like in aspects of control, because there's people on both sides who are making money in everything, you know, real estate, crypto, but it's left. It seems like people on the right were more like into the fossil fuels, right? And people on the left are starting to dive into, you know, the electric car, the green stuff, the, you know, and now crypto. I didn't think the left, because the left is always trying to, you know, always trying to take down Bitcoin. They try to say it's bad for the environment, you know, oh, it's unregulated. These things are, it needs to be regulated because only drug dealers use it. You know, but then, you know, I say that and Trump was hating on Bitcoin. That's one of the things I don't like about Trump either. Like,
so, you know, my issue is that what we have is that power structures in general hate on Bitcoin, because what Bitcoin did is has shown the people that, look, all these institutions that we have relied on for so long, we don't really need. Like, to a degree, we're now opening this door. And what have people said? You know, let's not ask Kanye what he would say about the bankers, but just let's say banks in general. It's well established that, you know, banks are not necessarily out for the people. We all kind of know that. We all think of bankers as being this greedy class of individuals who has power over our money. And when we think about things like even like, you know, different companies like Western Union, where they charge these fees to send money. You know, I had to send money to my dad in Mexico, and to send him $100 was like $20, right? So then all of a sudden you have these services like Bitcoin where you can just transfer the money immediately through cell phones. It cuts out the middlemen. And now you have an opportunity to essentially be able to do transactions that are verified as an individual. So I think we're in this era where, you know, you and I talk about this all the time, about all this pushback that we're getting from organizations like the World Economic Forum, how they're trying to do things like censor the internet. And what I see happening is that the reason why it's coming down so fast right now, it's both good and bad. Through computers and technology, the internet, essentially, we created a means of being able to communicate in a way that was never done before, where you no longer needed, you know, large broadcasting companies. You no longer needed things like the New York Times. You have citizen journalists that are doing better work than a lot of the so-called journalists out there now. You have people with YouTube channels that are just starting from nothing, just like us, and who are now very well trusted, who started from the ground up and are who actually more trusted than the major institutions. So they're losing control of the narrative because they can no longer control that. And now we have a system through Bitcoin that could literally, you know, throw a nuke to the financial system, in the sense that it takes the power out of the banks. And, you know, that, you know, boa constrictor strength that they have over it, now we as individuals could start to form our own institutions. So I think what a lot of what we're seeing right now is you're seeing these world powers that have been able to control the media through, you know, newspapers, through broadcasting. They've been able to control the dialogue exclusively. Right? You had a couple news channels you could turn to. Now you can get on the internet and have hundreds or thousands of different points of views. You can get on Twitter like I did and get all this like in-depth articles about these things. And then on top of that, you have this attack on financial systems, which it isn't really attack. In my opinion, it's giving the power to the people. That's what all these platforms are doing.
Yeah, the fact that it's deregulated. I mean, we saw this during the pandemic. They started shutting down people's GoFundMe accounts. Now PayPal is trying to give misinformation, penalties and all this crazy nonsense. So the establishment and the institutions want to put the boot on your neck, but you can't do that with crypto, because with crypto, you're able to move and shake. You got a VPN, you do a little this, you do a little that, you can still trade. And, it's on the blockchain. So, they would have to be very aggressive. Like, even if it wasn't accepted, people are going to use crypto and Bitcoin and stuff. Like, even if they get regulated and do all this stuff, there's still, because technology is, it's still the wild, wild west. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be more for like, the hackers and nerds. Like, if they go crazy with the regulations, then all these Bitcoin ballers, that will kind of turn to something else, but people will still use it, and they can use it underground because of technology, if you understand how to use the technology. But
well, and what it comes down to as well is that it's not that they want to get rid of it. They just want to make it for their own, because they recognize that on one hand, things like Bitcoin have the potential to create a new type of economic system that gives power into the hands of the people. Right. But then what they can do is, if they can subvert that, they can take that thing, which is this, huge force for, individual freedom over your finances, and turn it into complete control over your finances, like has never been done in history before.
Yeah. And it's on the way. It's on the way. This is like the dog.
Well, it's not just on the way. I was telling you this morning about how, lo and behold, right as this goes down, guess what? MasterCard, and a number of other governments from around the world are doing a trial run of their own CBDC, which is the central bank digital currency. So what that is they are trying to create a digital currency through central banks that will be, ultimately a global currency. And just like the truckers in Canada, what can they do? The minute that you step out of line, they can shut it off.
Well, it was interesting because we got a glimpse of it during the pandemic, because that's what they did with our money, like just putting money into your bank account and stuff like that. Obvious, it wasn't crypto. It's not on the blockchain. But the fact that you're not actually printing up cash, you're just putting decimals in certain places and putting it into bank accounts. Now, obvious, people are pulling the money, cash gets pulled, but there's a lot of, people using Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. There's just a lot of digital movement, and they're watching all this and they're planning. And I feel like that was their first, test. Like, hey, we don't have to write a check. We don't have to send checks to people's houses like that anymore. We just, hey, here's your bank card, and it's going to be the same with these currencies. And we'll see what happens to physical money, because the thing that I don't think they can account for yet, during the pandemic, scammers went crazy. And some of these MFers made off with the money, did not get caught. And it's the same with this crypto stuff. Now, on the blockchain, it's harder to take and scam, but actually it's damn near impossible to take if it's on the blockchain the way it's supposed to be. But I still feel like, with this Fed coin that's on the way, we'll see. We will see. Nothing's, all I know is
nothing's written in stone. And I know there's a lot of pushback. A lot of the people that I follow on Twitter that are into this, into crypto, or, pushing back against the CBDC. I mean, I see a lot of people that are, like Ian Smith Fitness. Like, there's a lot of different people out there from all different walks of life that see this for the threat that it, potentially is, or really is.
Well, you say Ian Fitness, and he's in particular, because he and his partner during the pandemic had over $100,000 in their bank account for their gym. When they shut down the gym, so they told them to shut down the gym, and they're like, no, we're not shutting down. We're doing everything by code. Everyone's healthy. No one's gotten hurt, blah, blah, blah. They seized all their money. So he had to start doing all this fundraising by selling t-shirts, and he only can get money by Bitcoin, because they did they originally did a fundraiser, and somehow the government got their money again. So all these underground people, because there's people on no fly list, all this stuff, and the way they're surviving in society is through Bitcoin. Like, it's really wild. Like, there's a lot of dudes, and the truckers in Canada, all that stuff. Even Andrew Tate, man, when they canceled him, like, he was like, well, like, they still had their crypto, they still move stuff here and there. you know, they were going in and out of Russia, getting or going to the Ukraine, rescuing people that were in their network, you know, and they were using crypto and a bunch of different things. So like it's proven to be valuable, you know. So
Absolutely.
we will see.
Okay, so you ready to go off the rails and close this biatch out?
Nope. Let's go.
All right, so okay, this is Leah Halpern. Speaking of Andrew Tate, you remember her, right?
Yeah. She did the interview with him.
With the blurred out panties.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, she says, I fuck with her though, because she's out there, you know, spreading the gospel. So I don't care what anyone says. SBF didn't make billions in arbitrage trading Bitcoin between America and Japan. So in 1991, Robert Maxwell dies in a bizarre circumstances. Looted fortune goes missing, and Epstein signs bizarre POA, power of attorney, over the Ohio billionaire's estate in 1991. The fortune surfaces in his hands. 2019, Epstein dies in bizarre circumstances, just as a fortune reappears within SBF's FTX. So, like I said, this is where this story goes off the rails, but you know, you see all these different connections being made between politicians, the allegations of, you know, money laundering. And then there was a tweet that was put out, I believe, 2 days. Okay.
This is crazy, bro, because then the first thing I think of is Bill Clinton on Epstein Island, and you're seeing Hillary, and you're seeing which party all this money went to. And
bro, there's pictures of Bill Clinton with this dude.
This dude is I can't stand
a creep, right? Okay, so to further go off the rails, this is 2 days, right? 2 days before all of this stuff went down, I believe. Okay. The 29-year-old co-founder of MakerDAO, Nikolai Mushigian, has been found dead in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Just 3 days after tweeting the following from his personal Twitter account. CIA and Mossad and a pedo elite are running some kind of
trafficking,
entrapment, blackmail ring out of Puerto Rico and Caribbean islands. They are going to frame me with a laptop planted by my ex-girlfriend who was a spy. They will torture me to death.
Damn.
So he tweeted this, and then 3 days later was found drowned.
This is a legit. That's a legit
article. So he tweeted that they were running some sort of blackmail ring out of the Caribbean, which this company was in the Bahamas. And this is what their logo is. So once again, this may just all be coincidence. This is all just allegedly coincidence going down the rabbit hole. But this other crypto dude tweets this about them running this type of ring, ends up being killed. Then this whole, you know, FTX thing blows up. And these are the logos of Alameda Research. What does that correspond to? And then his shirt here. So once again,
man, I'm not familiar with those symbols on the right. I didn't know that's what they're supposed to represent. So because they be making stuff up on the internet. So I'll just be like,
this is something that's been around for a while. It's like an FBI thing that they've talked about.
Yeah, see, I just don't know because I ain't, you know what I mean? But dang. Yeah, this is where it gets kind of wild, but it's like, bro,
you know, once again, it's like,
why does everything always connect to a dang ring of fire, bro? We're gonna call it a ring of fire because I don't.
What I'm saying is so weird because, you know, what do they say? When there's smoke, there's fire. But you always hear these allegations and then underline it.
And now it's so watered down when you hear the P word.
Yeah.
Rhymes with Frito. You're just like, yo, like, you're just like, nah, it can't be. This is too crazy because everyone says it, you know? But then I'm like, sheesh. And what's funny is I've been playing devil's advocate, like giving pushback, right? Like, no, that can't be. And people on our channel be getting mad when I do that. They're like, P, you know what's going on. It reminds me of when Alex Jones goes on Joe Rogan and Joe's like gives pushback and Alex is like, Joe,
like, fact check that. No, fact check that.
You know, Joe. So I was like, deep down, I do know. But on the camera, I just play devil's advocate. One, because we keep getting kicked off of our platforms for talking about this type of stuff. Two, I'm just like, dude, I mean, where there's smoke, there is fire. It tends to be. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm not
and that last story
ends in a ring of fire, but it would.
Yeah, and that last story may be completely unrelated. It's just a bizarre circumstance that some crypto dude tweets that about some strange ring going on in the Caribbean where these guys happen to be located.
Well,
and drowned.
I don't know if you saw, I did a segment on Takeoff when the passing, the dude from Migos is passing. And it's so crazy because his last music video is very cryptic because all these things happened in the music video that kind of played out in his actual death. And so, but the more I look at it, I'm like, this is coincidental. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how is a music video, like, just so many different things line up. So I just get lost with that stuff because I have been seeing massive stuff. I'm like, is this coincidence? But my brother, when he was at the Nation, they always said there's no coincidence for the righteous. So I don't know, man. I can't call it.
Or for the wicked. And, my thing is like, we're going to kind of go off on a tangent, but like with the Takeoff type stuff, man, I think people are casting spells with their music and with their videos, and you cast certain spells with the type of things that you talk about. When you talk about, oh, people are always doing me wrong, these women are always treating me wrong, trying to take advantage of me, or, my boss is an a-hole, people are always trying to take advantage of me. It's like those type of things tend to resurface in your life because you're casting them out into the world.
So when Cardi B said, I have wet putty, she basically
she's casting a spell, bro. She's trying to, she's about to
world endorsed by Waterworld.
Exactly.
What?
She's about to bring out about the next great flood is what that means.
Better
start building your ark right now.
2 dicks at a time, Cardi. All right. Sheesh.
All right. I think that's a good place to end it. 2 Ds at a time, Cardi.
Dang these chains, you guys. Well, as the Republic keeps falling, the Republic of yours, just remember, you can always tune into the 40-year-old FUQ boys
for your latest news. Yeah.
Not trying to be an A, Don. Like, typically, you're the one lightening up the convo, and you went pretty dark on this one, bud. You're pretty.
I don't see when I just report stuff like this. I'm not like, how is this dark? Like, I'm not being dark.
You weren't dark. But the subject matter, like normally you'll pop in with a funny joke or something. It just didn't happen on this one.
Yeah, it's weird because I just know that, we're 42 minutes in. So in my mind, like what I'm trying to do is just get the story out there so I could drop the facts, because I do believe it's super important that people know this. Like something very weird is going on with this. All of this stuff, even if we take out that last bit that goes off the rails, everything leading up to it, the way the political contributions were made, to me, it's a massive indicator of corruption. And like a lot of this stuff is being swept under the rug. For instance, the New York Times just did an article about him, just released it. And they basically was like a fluff piece, just saying, oh, this poor kid is trying to change the world and made a mistake. And they didn't talk about any of these allegations. So you have, we're out here, basically left with the duty of trying to get the message out because the New York Times is doing a fluff piece and trying to sweep it under the rug. So like, yeah, there's a part of me that wants to chime in and joke and try to, do that. But I'm like, dude, if I do that, this is going to be an 1.5-hour segment. And I'm just trying to get the info out. I figure you can come in and bring in the comedy, lightheartedness, but somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to get this message out there. And, Whitney Webb, I don't know if you know who she is, but she did just a massive, like 2-book, 1,000 pages deep dive into Epstein, where she goes in depth and exposes, this corruption and how far it goes, and how, basically everything that we talk about, she breaks it down to a science. And one of the takeaways that she just left, on a podcast was that, in order to combat this, every person needs to use their voice and whatever platform that they have to speak out against it. She's like, Like, it doesn't matter even if you think that you have a small platform, that you really can't make a difference. Like, it takes every person. So I trip out too, because I'm just like, dang, man, why is it left on the FUQ boys to, we're supposed to be clowning and having fun. But then, I read this, like I said, New York Times article, and it's like, bro, they're not even talking about this. So if we don't do it, we can't rely on our media to do it.
These hoes be acting up. Yo, you guys, like, share, and comment on all the content and spread the news. You know what I'm saying? All you can do is grassroots it out, organic style. There's a lot of nonsense going on in the world, but we gotta try to fix it together.
Yeah, and let us know if you appreciate these deep dives where we get into some of these, a little bit more serious topics and spend a little bit more time, trying to get to the bottom of some of this.
Yeah. Hey, you guys, thanks for tapping in. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy the vibe, hit that subscription button, trying to get to that 50K mark, then 100, baby. Other than that, that's a pretty good one for the FTX. We'll see how many of y'all watch it. Make sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you think about FTX. And if you've been in the chat, we love you, baby. The freestyle rap practice is coming up at 2:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the channel. So let's go, man. 40.
Thank you for being some man. 40 years down the road, back again. FUQ boys.